We're counting down 15 school lunches Black kids carried home in memory long after the trays were cleared. From humble everyday staples to meals that made the whole lunchroom stand still, these items span 4 decades of scratched trays, loud cafeterias, and flavors that tasted like somebody in that kitchen cared. Some felt like Sunday dinner on a Wednesday. And the meal at number 1 brought an entire culture to the lunch line. Let's start at number 15. Number 15. Long before the hot entrees claimed the tray, the school day began with the cold, wax-coated half-pint milk carton. In the early mornings, children queued up, tearing at stiff cardboard tabs in a hurried classroom rush. For many growing up in the 50s and 60s, the offering was reconstituted powdered milk, thin, chalky, and often lukewarm. It sat beside simple crackers, serving as a basic daily routine rather than a culinary comfort. As USDA dairy distribution expanded and refrigeration improved, these pale, watery mornings slowly gave way to ice-cold carton selections, including the highly anticipated chocolate milk. Number 14. The fried Bologna sandwich on white bread. As soon as the salty, oily aroma of meat hitting the hot griddle drifted through the hallways, everyone knew what was for lunch. On the tray, you'd find a single thick bologna slice, browned and curling up at the edges to form a perfect little cup, nestled inside soft, squashed white bread. Wrapped in simple paper, it was a modest, cheap staple, often leading to lively lunchroom trades. Over time, as schools moved away from highly processed meats and introduced stricter nutrition standards, this griddled comfort classic quietly vanished from school menus. Number 13, the classic peanut butter and jelly sandwich, packed from home. Unzipped from a colorful lunchbox or pulled from a crinkled brown paper bag, this lunch offered a sweet, sticky comfort. Thick, salty peanut butter pressed against sweet grape jelly, bleeding purple spots through soft white bread. Unpacking a meal prepared at home offered a quiet moment of family connection, while other kids waited in the noisy hot food lines. This brown bag staple gradually faded as school meal programs expanded in the 90s and strict peanut allergy restrictions transformed cafeteria tables. Number 12, the comforting tray of meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and brown gravy. This meal brought a Sunday dinner feeling right into the middle of the school week. Steam rose from the metal trays as kitchen staff ladled thick, savory gravy directly over a hearty slice of loaf-style meat and a scoop of soft potatoes. You watched the warm gravy slowly pool and soak into the cracks of the mashed potatoes. It tasted of home, salty, rich, and reassuring. But as scratch kitchens transitioned to pre-formed frozen meat products, this handmade cafeteria classic slowly faded away. Number 11, candied yams and creamed corn sides. In school cafeterias, especially those with southern roots, these sweet sides made any ordinary lunch feel like a holiday. On the metal tray, glossy, syrupy orange yams or rich, pale yellow creamed corn brought a warm, buttery aroma to the line. They tasted like a special treat, closely mirroring the dishes served at Sunday dinners and church homecomings. Over time, as federal nutrition standards tightened to limit added sugars and fats in the 1990s, school kitchens began replacing these cherished sweet vegetable sides with simpler, unsweetened alternatives. Number 10. The messy, sweet, and tangy Sloppy Joe on a buttered bun. Long before pre-packaged entrees, cafeteria cooks simmered ground beef with tomato sauce and brown sugar, filling the lunchroom with a rich, savory aroma. On the tray, the glossy, saucy meat mixture inevitably spilled over the sides of a soft, steam-warmed bun. It was a race against the clock to eat it before the bottom turned soggy and collapsed. Cheap to make with surplus USDA beef, it was a playful, filling favorite. But as federal guidelines in the 90s cut down on added sugars and sodium, this sticky classic quietly faded away. Number 9, the chicken patty sandwich with gravy. This transitional favorite arrived in the 1970s and the 1980s, bridging the gap between home-cooked warmth and freezer-line convenience. On the tray, a golden breaded chicken patty sat smothered under a ladle of thin, salty brown gravy, served inside a soft, steam-warmed bun. The crunch of the breading meeting the savory sauce and soft bread gave Black children a comforting, filling meal that felt substantial even as schools shifted toward bulk efficiency. Eventually, this hearty staple changed, as federal guidelines pushed for leaner, unbreaded proteins and low-sodium sauce standards. Number 8. The legendary rectangular school pizza. This thick, pillowy square crust came topped with a smear of sweet, concentrated tomato sauce. and a solid sheet of melted, rubbery orange cheese. The moment those hot metal pans rolled out, a wave of excitement hit the lunchroom. It was the ultimate good lunch day, a joyful break from the standard routine that every kid looked forward to. But as federal nutrition guidelines tightened in the 90s, requiring whole grain crusts and low-sodium sauce, the classic greasy square slice quietly vanished, replaced by healthier alternatives. Number 7, baked macaroni and cheese. This tray favorite brought the warm, comforting flavor of Sunday dinner straight into the middle of the school week. Cafeteria cooks baked giant metal pans until a golden brown, bubbly crust formed over a rich, creamy center. In the 70s and 80s, schools made the staple using thick blocks of government commodity cheese, giving it a salty, buttery taste that felt like home. As children waited in the steaming lunch line, they watched for those coveted crispy corner pieces. The beloved dish changed forever in the 90s, when federal limits on fat and sodium forced kitchens to swap the rich recipe for lower-fat alternatives. Number 6, cornbread and chili. This pairing brought the comforting warmth of Sunday church suppers straight to the weekday metal tray. On cold afternoons, cafeteria staff ladled thick, mildly spiced beef and bean chili next to a thick golden square of crumbly cornbread. The delicious rhythm was in the contrast, the sweet, buttery cornmeal soaking up the savory, salty chili sauce. But as school kitchens faced tighter baking schedules, sugar concerns, and rigid menu standardization in the 1990s, baking from scratch faded, replacing this handmade duo with pre-packaged rolls and processed, low-sodium alternatives. Number 5, Salisbury Steak smothered in mushroom gravy. This dinner-style meal raised the standard of the school lunchroom, making a regular afternoon feel a bit more grown-up. Cooks ladled rich, glossy mushroom gravy over a dense, savory beef patty, which paired perfectly with a warm scoop of mashed potatoes or white rice. For many Black children, this hearty dish was a filling favorite that echoed the comforting flavor of home-cooked beef and gravy. As school districts faced tighter budgets and modern health guidelines in the 1990s, these heavy beef portions slowly disappeared from the menu. Number 4, Fish Stick Fridays. Long before the weekend officially arrived, the unmistakable, savory aroma of breaded fish hitting the fryer signaled that Friday had come. On the tray, a row of neat golden brown fish sticks sat lined up beside a cool, tangy dollop of tartar sauce. Every bite delivered a mild, slightly salty crunch on the outside with a flaky white interior, a comforting rhythm that generations of children looked forward to as an end-of-the-week ritual. But as federal nutrition guidelines shifted in the 90s, these processed, crispy favorites slowly transitioned toward baked or grilled versions. Number 3, fried fish with Hushpuppies. The unmistakable aroma of hot seasoned oil drifting from the kitchen signaled a meal that felt like a weekend family gathering or a church fish fry. On the tray sat a golden, bronze-crusted fish fillet paired with small, crispy cornmeal Hushpuppies. Children waited eagerly in the noisy cafeteria lines, hoping for the crunchiest pieces. Every bite delivered a perfect contrast of flaky, hot fish and sweet, grainy cornmeal. This beloved sensory meal began to fade as schools retired scratch-frying equipment, replacing these handmade comfort classics with pre-cooked, outsourced heat-and-serve portions. In second place, sheet cake or ice cream on special days. Nothing lifted the energy of the cafeteria faster than the sight of a frosted sheet cake square or a small paper cup of ice cream sitting on the metal tray. The entire lunchroom instantly grew loud with excitement, making an ordinary school day feel like a birthday or a shared victory. These sweet, sugary rewards marked rare celebrations that children looked forward to all year. But as school budgets tightened and strict federal nutrition rules reduced dessert-style lunches, these festive treat day milestones quietly disappeared from the cafeteria line. And finally, in first place, the fried chicken lunch tray. The unmistakable, savory aroma of seasoned flour and hot oil drifted from the kitchen early in the morning, charging the hallways with anticipation. On the tray, a golden brown, crispy thigh or drumstick sat alongside warm sides, offering a comforting meal that felt remarkably close to a Sunday family dinner. For generations of Black children, this was the ultimate cafeteria event, where Black kitchen staff poured care and home-style seasoning into every batch. But as fryer restrictions, budget cuts, and outsourced frozen nuggets replaced scratch cooking in the 90s, this cherished culinary tradition quietly vanished. Across these 15 entries, we see that school lunch was never just about nutrition. In the hands of dedicated cooks, standard ingredients became acts of cultural love, transforming loud cafeterias into sanctuaries of community. These memories still feed the soul. Which lunch do you miss most? Share your memories below.